Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Today, I'd like to ask you, are you a beggar or a believer? Now, the reason I'm asking is simple. I come across and I go across a lot of boards on Facebook and other venues, and I had come across this one woman who was in sales, and she was looking to secure a contract. Now, looking to secure a contract is great, except the one thing that triggered me when I saw it was she said, I really hope I get this because I really need it. Now, when you use the terminology need, it becomes more of a fear-based mentality than it does a faith-based mentality or assurance that you can provide your value to your client or your customer. When you say need, it becomes more about yourself than it does about your customer or client. And the whole dynamics of the physiology and the psychology change considerably. So this is why I want to really make saleswomen especially educated and understanding on the insight of psychology, because we have been conditioned from little ages, from the time we were knee high, that there are certain things that we should be worried about, and we were more, it was just certain dynamics or topics of which we as women tend to take on responsibility more for than necessarily men do. And a fear-based mentality is something that I've seen in both men and women, especially in sales. And I do notice that when it becomes a fear-based mentality, it's usually because of there's certain circumstances, such as financial, or there's circumstances such as things going on in their household, which could be, any kind of, whether it be marital problems or it be sickness or illness. There are things that interfere with our ability to come across as confident and self-assured, and in our ability to be of value to our customer, as well as assurance that we can produce and provide. It is very dangerous. We have to be really careful, because I don't think that people even realize sometimes that they're in this spiral, and it is a spiral. It starts off and then it starts to take you down, because what happens is you start thinking, oh, I got to be cheaper. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. And we start going after the symptoms instead of finding out where it originates. Helping the symptom helps only a portion of it, but you really got to figure out it's beyond the symptoms. And that comes with asking in-depth questions and getting answers that you need, and really pursuing with a purpose in mind, not out of fear where you're asking questions simply because you want to keep them on the phone, or simply because you don't want to lose this because you really need this. When you get to that point, it's more of a feeling of desperation. And desperation is felt. It is felt by the person listening to you. It is communicated, even if it's not verbally communicated that I really need this. It's communicated in the way that you're responding, the way that you're behaving, in the way that your confidence level or lack of comes across in your vocal tones, in the way that it comes across in your body language. If you're standing strong, or if you're kind of hunched over because you're a little more insecure about this or unsure, those things are communicated. 90% of communication is nonverbal. I'm telling you now, you don't realize, but it is so nonverbal. It comes through our eye contact. It comes through our body language. It comes through our vocal tones. It comes through those pregnant pauses, if you will. Years ago, I worked with a receptionist, and she was wonderful. And she had said that she was trying to have a baby. Really wanted to get pregnant. And she was married for so many years, wanted to get pregnant, and that's awesome. And she said to me one day, I said to her, she was explaining to me how she, wanting to have a baby. And I said, how, she said, I'm praying and believing God. And I said, I'm curious, how are you praying? And she said, well, I would go at night and get on my knees, and I would say to God, please, let me just have a baby. I really want a family. I truly do. And I said to her, are you a beggar or a believer? And she looked a little stunned at me and like, how would you ask me such a thing? She goes, I'm a believer. I said, then start acting like it. Because when you start saying your prayers in the terms of please, can I please have it, you are begging for something that you should have or want. If that desire has risen up in you, then you need to believe that desire is going to be fulfilled. It shifts the dynamics. It shifts the perception. And I said it, and we don't realize how much. And if you look at neurolinguistic programming and you look at different things, how much our minds control our bodies. So she ended up getting pregnant 6 weeks later. Now, the real kicker of this, 6 weeks after our conversation that shifted her perception, she got pregnant and came to me afterwards and said to me, I really want to thank you for the conversation. Our conversation was literally 30 seconds. And she said, I want to thank you for the conversation because I have been trying to have a baby for 3 years. I was stunned. I was stunned at the power that our minds have over our bodies, at the power of faith versus fear versus, and this is a dynamic that doesn't just happen. And I want to preface this because I should have prefaced this because some cases it really is a medical condition of which needs to be addressed medically. So I want to make sure I put that in there because I don't want to make light of infertility because trust me, it took a long time for me to get pregnant at one point, and I realized in my mind that when I finally surrendered, it happened for me. But I know friends of mine who were not unable to, so please don't think I'm taking this lightly because I'm not. But I do want you to understand though, because that lesson plays into so many different areas of our life. It plays into our relationships. It plays into our business. It plays into so many different things. And I really want you to understand that the mindset is so important because what we think, only I'm thinking it and nobody else knows it, they do. It will come across. It's like you can't, when you put things inside you and have thoughts, mindsets, belief systems inside you, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of how to explain it properly. It's kind of like a bottle. When you have enough of them, it just overflows and comes out of you. It's not like you can even help it. You can't. It's going to eventually, it's kind of like if you don't like someone, you really don't like them, and you've been thinking thoughts about them, and then you see them, it's very difficult for you to come across as being genuinely, hi. It does come across in your body language. It'll come across in the way that you look at them. It comes across even if your intent is not to. So when I say in sales that in order to be successful, you need to develop that mind. It all starts and ends here. You are worth it. You have been gifted with an ability and a gift that you need to use for others. And it's not to be for you. It's not to be kept for you. It is meant to be used for others. And in turn, others will reward you for that gift. But you can't look for the reward and be focused on the reward first. You need to be focused on the value that you give to your customer, to your client, to your relationships, to anyone that you're in a relationship with. Because let's face it, customers and vendors relationships is just that. It's a relationship. So when you learn how to truly develop relationships, you will see it'll flourish in all areas of your life. I hope that helps someone today. Please leave me your comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day. Take care.